What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of At Home with Mark. Today is season 9, episode 3. And we got something really cool today. We haven't had on a guitar builder or guitar builders in quite some time, but Sean and Mark are here from Seuf Guitars. And dudes, thank you so much for making time to do this.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. So obviously I'm hip to your stuff because of Ryan. So I've seen plenty of videos of him playing that, your instruments and everything. And we'll get into all that stuff. And I want to talk more about how you guys got into it and everything. But what's your earliest musical related memory that you guys can think of? And I don't know if this will be a hive mind situation being twins and all, but what is your earliest musical memory?
Could be. Sean, you're up.
I think the first thing that really came to mind, so it's probably it, was just vibing to Ace of Base in my dad's truck.
Nice.
I think that was pretty much it.
That was it. That was our first cassette. I was gonna say we went to this there's this TV show for kids, and we went to the live thing. I can't even remember the name of the show. I think it was Sharon, Lois, and Bram or something like that. I think they did.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I think that was right before Ace of Base.
I forgot about that.
It was all over after that, dude. My life has changed. I haven't really strayed too far from them since.
So this was a live studio audience, kind of was it a kid's show?
Yeah, it was a kids show, and I think they did musical numbers. I can't really remember even what the show is about anymore, but I remember going to the thing. And it was at a music hall, so I'm going to assume it was musically oriented. Kid stuff. They have to do the rhymes to subdue the kids and all that stuff. So.
Right. Okay, that's fine. So Sean, you didn't remember that until Mark said that?
No, the only thing I remember about that is there was a lot of crying. And I don't remember who was crying. But
how old were you guys?
Young.
You really young, 3, 4 maybe.
Oh,
and then,
wow.
5 was Ace of Base season, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so funny, man. So did you guys grow up with music on in the house a lot too?
Not a ton.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't yeah, just in the car. It wasn't a musical household really. We lived with our grandparents, so we didn't make a lot. They were upstairs, we were downstairs. We didn't make a ton of noise. My mom, which pissed my dad off to no end, let us stay up late all the time to watch Beavis and Butthead. Because she was super into it. But other than that, I mean, we didn't have the jam box running or anything too terribly often. It was all be outside washing cars, have music on, or just in the car or at friends' houses.
Okay.
Yep.
So then how did you guys explore that more? If you got the bug a little bit, even if it's Ace of Base, which there ain't nothing wrong with that, by the way, but
no.
If you get bit by that bug, how do you continue to kind of seek out more music?
Eventually we moved out, the family moved out of our grandparents' house, and then then after that, we each had our own CD players and stuff like that, and we'd go to the library and stuff. So it was just a little bit delayed.
Okay.
But still had the same normal music upbringing.
Okay. Were you guys both into the same music while you were coming up, or were you kind of both into different kind of styles?
No, it's pretty much the exact same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same.
All right. So it's kind of that shared, like I was saying, the hive mind thing. You guys probably have a lot of that. I mean, I have a friend who's a twin, and it's that thing where it's they just know what they're going to say before they say it. And they share all these interests together, but there are, I guess, a couple things that are different, but musically, that's very interesting that something resonated with you guys at the same time, that you're going to be oh, okay. So who introduced who to other styles of music? Were you Mark, were you hey, Sean, check this out? Or Sean, were you dude, no, check this out? Did you guys share that stuff growing up?
I think that started happening around high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have an older brother that did that for me. So I'm and he's 4 years older. So it's very different. but I mean, you guys probably pass stuff back and forth. What styles of music was it? Was it like rock stuff? Like, what were you into? Because like, what year was this?
I'd say it was mostly rock stuff. I had a buddy who had like an older cousin that would show him like Pearl Jam and Rage Against the Machine and Weezer and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, that it was more like we didn't have an older brother or anybody to show us stuff, or not too many older friends either. So yeah, we just kind of we either had to figure it out together via our friend, or I mean, I guess occasionally Mark would show me like I think Mark showed me 3-6 Mafia, which was pretty clutch. That was pretty important.
Yeah.
Nice. So are you the
Sean showed me My Bloody Valentine, for example.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Yeah.
Okay. There's a little bit of pride there when you show somebody something where you're just like, hey, do you know about this? Like, no. And then they fall in love with it. I feel like there's like a little bit of pride there. So tell me a little bit more about like guitar and how that entered your guys' lives, because did you get started much later? Because it sounds to me like music kind of was a floating in the ether type thing, and then high school maybe things got a little bit more serious.
I think we started playing around middle school. You know, new metal was super huge back then, so like we were super into name your favorite new metal band. We were listening to it. I had a Slipknot shirt for every day of the week. So yeah, I think around middle school is when we started playing. You know, just trying to like learn Nirvana songs by ourselves, get in the Guitar World with the tab books and everything. And I think I didn't really like try super hard until I was in high school to get any sort of good at guitar. But Mark like played a lot more than me one summer, and then I got kind of bummed that he was way better than me. So
yeah, that's how it goes.
I had to catch up.
Yeah. Did you put a lot of time in there during that summer, Mark? Do you remember like putting a lot of work in?
It was probably, I mean, like it wasn't like shredder hours or anything like that. I wasn't doing 8 hours a day, but I'd probably do 3 or 4.
Okay.
You know, just like I was so frustrated that I saw other people doing it and I couldn't, that I just kind of I just played until I could kind of do the thing, and then I stopped progressing from there. So,
so no more practicing these days. Just building.
you know, when you're working on them all day, the last thing that I want to do when I get home is even look at a guitar, let alone play one. But I still try. Like I've got, you know, I've got a book of progressions right here. I've got 5 guitars sitting right over there.
Nice.
And I try to play, and these days I'm trying to get my composition skills up a little bit, and stuff like that. Chops I don't really care about. I'm a rhythm guitar player, and I can if you can show it to me, I could probably play it. So,
Okay.
so yeah, I don't feel the need to like I don't want to be a virtuoso or anything like that, but I do want to be. There are certain things that I want to be better at, and that's what I devote my time to more now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, rhythm playing is the most important thing, man. I feel like it's interesting because for a long period of time, I played and toured in a jam band and was doing that thing, and you know, trying to follow in the steps of Fish and the Grateful Dead and Moe and all these bands I loved. Even though I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan, I mean, I grew up, that's my thing.
Nice.
But I, you know, for a long time I got away from it. I totally got away from Fish, and you know, was fine with that. And then I remember when I was on the show with you guys, and like Ryan made a joke about it because he doesn't like Fish. And but when I recently really got back into it, like to the point where I'm like now not listening to the guitarist, I'm not listening to Trey, I'm like paying attention to what Paige, the keyboard player, is doing, and came to the realization that he is everything for that band. If he was not playing the shit that he plays, Trey would have no canvas to paint on. And I think it's just so important. And I try to like express that to a lot of my friends that are trying to like learn the instrument and everything. Like, you gotta get your rhythm chops to a place where it's super solid. So I feel like there's so much glory of like blistering 16th notes and all that stuff, but I'm like, that is not where the music shines when you really think about it, you know.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes when you hear somebody that like is just predominantly a lead player play rhythm, it's like you could probably stand to tighten that up, buddy.
Yeah,
You
dude.
need a metronome, dude.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's such a big thing, and like my buddy sent me all these tracks. What's the name of that software? I think was it Moises that you can pull out instruments out of the mix, right? So like,
I haven't heard of that. That sounds cool.
Dude, it's super dope. It's really
Is that
cool.
a free download?
There's a trial that you can try it and mess with it, and then if you want to like upgrade, you can I think you can purchase the software. You can do like the subscription thing, but he'll like go in and pull out Trey's guitar parts so you can jam along with Fish without Trey. And that is when I really started to be like, holy shit, Paige is like makes every jam. Like he totally drives and like solidifies ideas every time they're in any kind of improvisational setting. And that made me really start to like step back and think about that stuff, Sean, with like, I need to like, be more, diligent about how I'm comping behind a soloist to support them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's super important. So tell me, for both of you, I don't know if this is the same for both of you, but like, what was your first guitar?
Oh, we shared one, so it was the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a Synsonic Sears little tiny like 3/4 size Strat thing with a speaker built in and a crate amp.
Heck yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we ever got the speaker to work on the thing. I don't think it ever worked.
Unfortunately not.
Which would have been cool. We probably wouldn't have lit it on fire when we were in high school if the speaker had worked.
Probably not.
You guys should build one of those. Like, just try to mess with like building one of those one time, just for the hell of it, so you can have some nostalgia.
It'd be fun. I'd get
a 3/4 Strat.
Right.
If we were gonna do it, then I'd want to like tune the inside of the guitar to make sure the speaker sounds good. I wouldn't be able to live with it.
Dude, so, some shoegaze band would be using the hell out of that, and it would become a new thing, man. I would love to see that happen. That would be awesome. So let me ask you this. Okay, so after that guitar, and you guys start to work on, playing the instrument, getting comfortable, even if it's cowboy chords and bar chords and whatnot. At what point are you like, all right, we need to buy ourselves our own instrument? This is not cutting it. When is that?
It only took a couple years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then after that, was it like Squire Central? Like, were you in Squire land, or what'd you do?
Once I was 18, or maybe I was 16 or 17, and I was able to like get my first job. I saved up my $5.15 an hour for, I don't know, probably 2 months or so. Just like every paycheck went toward buying one of those Fender Light Ash Telecasters.
Ooh,
and that was the first guitar I ever bought with my own money.
Hell yeah!
So it was a decent telly.
Yeah, I remember those, dude. I'm 45, so I mean, I'm like getting crusty here. I remember a lot of shit.
Yeah, it was I worked in a cornfield until my lungs filled up with so much pollen that I had to quit. Oh. So it was only like, they were long days. But yeah, minimum wage, $5.15 or less. And I think I only got 1 or 2 paychecks from it. But it was for just enough money to buy a BC Rich Warlock.
Nice, dude.
That's what I got. So needless to say, having the telly around was like, that was the nicest guitar that we owned. And our dad had got us a Ibanez RG that was in pretty poor shape. So Warlock went to the side. We used the telly and the Ibanez for most of high school and into college until I got a Gretsch.
Okay. What's Gretsch?
Yeah, it was it was one of those Korean double cuts.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah. Nice. It was it was my first guitar with a Bigsby, and I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that thing. That's kind of how I learned to fix up guitars, because the bridge was terrible on that thing, and I was constantly breaking strings. So. that was kind of my foray into guitar repair there.
Did you guys tinker with the Ibanez at all? You said it was in a little rough shape. Did you mess with that?
Never.
Never?
Not really.
Never.
Okay. How did you guys so here's the thing. I am so scared to work on my guitars, and I know I shouldn't be, because I know if I can't screw up stuff to the point where a luthier can't fix what I did, kind of thing, as far as truss rod adjustment and all that. But I have, when I was on the demos in the dark thing, and I think that was when you weren't there, Mark, but I had just gotten a Yamaha Revstar.
Nice.
And dude, I love it. It's a great, for $700. It's
Those are really good.
It's a great guitar.
Yeah, they're great.
I mean, they're kind of even the lower end ones, they're like a lot better than what you would get from your Fenders or I don't want to say Gibson, because I think Gibsons are great, but quality wise, lower budget. But the Yamahas, I mean, they do a lot. There's a lot of bang for the buck in there. I'd say best value for the money on the market right now is a Revstar.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and it's a great guitar, but like the jack was just garbage. Like when it just kept cutting out, and I was like, all right, I know I need to like swap this, and I can solder a bit, so I'm like, I can probably do this. I'll just order like a Switchcraft jack and put it in. And when I popped the plate off on that jack, somebody was either just completely wasted when they assembled that jack and put it in there, or just did not know what they were doing, because the wire was super short. So I was like, I don't have enough wire to like get to both posts, to like solder it.
Yeah.
And I pulled it all out, and I was like, I don't even know how to fix that. So I mean, I want to be able to do it, but I can't do it. So I had to take it to my buddy's shop. But like, what is the stuff that you guys started doing where you got more comfortable with like messing with strings and electronics and wood?
I don't think really it wasn't until we were in our early 20s that we really started messing with it too much. Like, we tried painting a guitar in high school, took it apart, and I believe the bridge ground was just tied onto something when we put it all back together. So that one doesn't count. And it wasn't until I was like, probably, 20 years old that I started messing with any of that stuff. And mostly it was like basic setup stuff. I had a soldering iron in high school, and I think I changed the LED on my Phase 90, but it took 3 hours just to make 2 connections. So it was probably when we were gigging, I'd say, is when we started really. Really
I would do some pickup swaps and adjust some actions here and there, but I wouldn't touch a truss rod.
Okay.
And then I was kind of like trying to mod pedals there for a while and do all that, because I was like bored in my dorm room and didn't have anything else to do, so might as well like make some solder fumes in there.
Right. Explain to me real quick. So like the truss rod thing is really what scares me. So I understand a little bit about relief and whatnot. Yeah. But like, for instance, for me as a player, because I play slide a lot. So like, I need to have a little bit higher action, but I also need to be able to fret the instrument and play the instrument too. Right. So like, for me, I kind of like I don't know, kind of like the crosshairs of playability, but also fighting it a little bit. So like, if I want to have my instrument set up like that, like what kind of relief or what kind of like, how would you set that up so the neck felt comfortable to be able to play slide? Because I don't know that I completely understand that in terms of the convex or concave, matter of however the truss rod is bent in there. Can you explain it to as a layman?
You're pretty much always gonna you never want it to be concave going up toward the strings. And I'm in the camp of I like a super straight neck no matter what style is being played on the guitar. So just like a tiny bit of what's that, convex, just like the tiniest bit. I think that's kind of where I land. So for you, if I were to set your guitar up, I'd get the neck as straight as I possibly could, maybe a tiny touch of relief, and just set the action higher from there. and then you won't be fight like when you get up around like frets past the 7th fret. You won't have to mash as hard to play your chords, and everything will still ring true. Because like if you're looking at it like this, your 7 frets around here, then you got a fucking hump right there.
I see.
See what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you don't want too much relief ever. Like it can cause just as many problems as your neck.
Yeah.
Being, bowed up for the strings.
That thing that people say about being able to slide the business card under there, I don't do that. That's way too much relief if your frets can handle it. So I mean, a guitar setup is basically it's a glorified triangle. You have 3 points. You've got your, let's say this is our bridge, this is our nut, and that space in between there, that's our string height. So you want to adjust the strings up and down instead of adjusting for this bottom piece. I don't like a lot of bow. The straighter your neck is, the less chance you have of fretting out when you go up. Because if you have too much bend, pressing the string down, you're going to run into more issues. So I prefer straighter necks, taller bridges, and that kind of completes the thing. That way you're not mashing as hard. Like chords feel kind of like you don't have to mash up the neck nearly as badly. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a preference thing. I'd say I'm right. But
I feel like it's just always a battle, because I mean I try to get my guitars set up properly at least once a year, but like I always keep them in my cases. I don't leave them out.
Yeah.
So I try to keep them, tucked away and everything when I'm not using them, and I think that helps. But like when I first got that Revstar, it had 10s on it, and I'm used to playing 11s.
Sure.
And I went to the studio to record with it because I loved how the P90 sounded. But then when I was recording the bridge, like I could tell, the intonation. I was like smashing those strings and it was going out of tune because I'm used to playing those heavier strings.
Sure.
And then I popped, 11s on it, and then it felt great and it was fine. But it in 10, I felt like it wanted to live there because it felt slinky and fast and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, but I might try to put 10.5s because I just dropped my Strat and my 335 down to 10.5s because I've been having wrist issues. And man, but there was something weird about that. Like 10s on that guitar, I felt like it was the fastest playing guitar I own right now. But I don't know if like the string tension or anything had to do with that, but it was definitely very, very comfortable to play. It just didn't sound right because I was squeezing too hard. So yeah, it's weird. But well, tell me a little bit. So did you guys ever, like when you started off messing with this stuff, did you do like Warmoth, like parts caster stuff to mess with things and try different things out for like your own knowledge? Like how did you get to where you are now?
I never really, I've never done a Warmoth build out of my own. I mean, I've done tons in the repair world, but I think I got my start in 2011, wet sanding finishes for Mr. Seuf. And I could barely do a setup at that point in time. Like I knew how to get my own guitar playing, my one that I used. I knew how to get that one playing okay, but somebody else's guitar, no, I had no clue. But I started off wet sanding, just getting finishes ready to buff, and then eventually within 6 months or so, I was kind of had to be trained to take over the repair shop because the other guy we were with, I was working with, moved. So it was kind of trial by fire, really. And I latched onto it really quick. It's like what people put into practicing to be a good shredder is what I put into becoming a good repair guy and builder.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Sean?
I started wet sanding when Mark quit. Well, it was probably a couple years later, and I still am wet sanding.
Okay.
I do a little bit of everything, but yeah, I started because Mark needed help mostly.
Okay. So the division of labor between you two is kind of like, explain that to me, how that works between the two of you.
So I'll do most of the woodworking and sanding and prep and finish. And then after finish is put onto the thing and it's all buffed out and everything, it goes off to Mark to kind of get everything assembled and playing right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of evolved over the years, like who does what, obviously. So like right now, what we're doing right now with what Sean just said, it's been that way for a couple of years now, and it'll probably end up staying that way until we get more people on. But yeah, I've been training somebody to do fret work, but I'll do most of the leveling, crowning, all the electronics. I make all the pickups for our guitars unless somebody wants something hyper specific. So make all the nuts, most of the hardware installs and stuff like that.
Okay.
And yeah, it's fun.
Are you guys like carving necks like specifically to requests from clients and everything? If there's something, if someone wants like a V or somebody wants a D or C, like, are you guys like, okay, like, that seems complicated?
Kind of. What we'll do is we have everything rough CNC'd and then we finish it all out by hand.
Okay.
So we're doing all the important parts. It's just the kind of time consuming stuff is done by CNC. And then so I finish sand everything. Typically Mark or the guy who was talking about earlier, Ian, will fret the necks. And then but generally we try to accommodate every request. Like if somebody wants like that offset EVH style neck back shape, then why not? Mm-hmm. It's not super difficult for us to get that CNC'd, and
then we'll finish it out by hand. Yep. And if we have to take something and do a little bit of extra shaping to accommodate, not really an issue. Like oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I used to do everything by hand, and I don't have time to carve necks anymore. It's a lot of work. But yeah, if somebody needs like their neck shaved down, or they don't like thing one about it, it's like, okay, let me then I'll pull out the rasps and files and get to going on it. But try to avoid that from the word go, if at all possible, because it's a lot of extra work.
Yeah, man, I can imagine. What's your favorite part of what you guys do? Like, what is your favorite like step in the process? If we had to choose like something as far as creating an instrument, which in my mind is a piece of art too, which is cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For me, it's doing a good finish. I particularly like doing sparkle finishes, even though it's like a lot of extra work. I think that I do a pretty good job on those, and they always come out looking really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, I'd say for the last like 7 years or so, for me, my favorite part is making the pickups, because I get to like take somebody's like idea of what they want and kind of curate that for them, and I don't miss very often, which is really cool. So that for me has been super rewarding.
How did you get into that? Like, how did you like get into the science behind that? Because I feel like that is a very that's a lot of pressure too, when somebody's like, oh, I want this thing to be really throaty, I want this like S style guitar to have that like Stevie thing, or have like something that's really like that hollow tubey. Like, how did you kind of get into that world and wrap your head around it? Seems tough, man.
I took a weekend seminar at a Lutheran school, and then I went home. That was a pretty big chunk of change. So when I got back from that, I saved up for a couple weeks and bought all the stuff, And then I just failed miserably for months and months and months until it kind of started to click. And then from there, once I got the like kind of the base, like general like swing of things down, that's when I started focusing more on the science of it. And then from there, it was just practice. You know, I change what materials I use every couple years when I'm confident that something's going to make a better product. I go all in. So
Okay.
throughout the course of me starting this, I've changed production methods 2 or 3 times. But yeah, it took a lot of reading, a lot of trial, and all that to get to where it is now. But man, it's rewarding. It's very fun.
Yeah. Milo, do you know about Rewind Electric, that pickup
Yeah.
builder?
Yeah.
So James is a good friend of mine, and like when he talks about some of the stuff, I'm just like, I have no clue what you're talking about. Like it's completely over my head. But like his attention to detail, it seems to be the same as yours in terms of like down to like the type of wire you're gonna buy to use. Like, have you gone down that rabbit hole of like finding like vintage wire and all that?
I don't care as much about the vintage wire as much as I do about the thickness of the coating on the wire. So
Mm.
I will buy the really expensive stuff. But my big thing, my big bugaboo lately that I've been hung up on is I am trying to avoid using any material that has a copper strike coat on it. Like so telly base plates, those are usually steel plated in copper. I won't use them. I think the copper kills the sound of a pickup, and I'm trying to go for the most pure thing that I can possibly find without adding too many eddy currents into it. So that's been my thing lately. Like instead of using nickel plated pickup covers, I will buy raw nickel and buff it out till it looks good enough for something like that. But so that's the hill that I've been dying on lately. It's pretty often.
Do you guys feel, and like, you can be honest with me about this because I have no opinions on this other than, well, I guess I do have an opinion on it, but I think in my mind, everyone's always like, the magic is the 1963 Fender Stratocaster pickup, blah, blah, blah. That was wound by this person and this and that.
Oh, I hate them all.
And yeah, and then I play modern stuff, dude. I bought my Strat, my custom shop Strat from Wildwood like 4 years ago, and I thought about changing the pickups out, and all of my friends are like, those pickups are the closest thing I can think of to like a vintage Strat pickup, but way better kind of thing. So never ever take those out of your guitar. Do you feel like the pickups that people are building, including yourself, are just as good, if not better, these days because the technology is so much better?
The technology is outside of magnet composition. The technology is pretty much the same as it ever was. But I will be the first person to tell you that I do not care for vintage guitars, and it's very rare that I find a vintage pickup that wows me. So your 1963 Strat, I can do better.
Right.
As far as the electronics are concerned. And it's not me being pompous or anything like that. I just I don't care for the sound of vintage pickups. They're still just as thin as anything you can get anywhere else. So I mean, different strokes for different folks, but I mean, I like to call everything that we do vintage corrected instead of vintage corrected.
Nice. What about like old PAFs? I've never played an old Gibson. I've never heard real PAFs. Like, is that a different game, or do you feel like still no? I feel like we can do better, like with like that style.
Here's the thing about that: if the guitar has PAFs in it and the pickups have never been removed, so it came with those pickups, chances are those PAFs sound good. If the PAF is floating around on the market, that means it was probably a dud. So putting them in your guitar, you're putting a dud PAF into your guitar, and you're spending a lot of money. That's not always the case, obviously, but I mean, I've heard just as many PAFs that sound bad as I have that sound good.
Yeah. What about you, Sean? What are your thoughts? Any thoughts on that?
I not really. Yeah, I tend to I tend to like Mark's pickups more than vintage examples, and we get a lot of opportunity with vintage guitars coming in for repair to kind of A/B them. Every once in a while there's a old Strat from the 50s that like
Always from the 50s.
Oh,
it's
really?
always from the 50s.
Always
That sounds amazing. It's like, damn, how do you make pickups do that thing? It's usually I don't know what it is. But yeah, it's like, okay, that sounds really good. You should probably take some notes on how this one was constructed, because that's awesome. And old Gibson P90s. I like old Gibson P90s. PAFs I can usually do without. They're a little dark for my personal taste, but some people really like that. But the thing about those is like they all sound kind of different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't nail it down.
Yeah.
What is the Strat magic? Like, what is it about it? Is it underwound? Is it overwound? Like those old Strats, like in the 50s? Like, what is the vibe?
Well, what is underwound or overwound when that's the example? So
True. Good point.
I guess it depends on how much wire you can fit on the thing, and if you use the same gauge. If you overfill the bobbin, I guess that's overwound. But like Fender didn't really care about that stuff. They put X amount of turns of wire on there, and with X gauge of wire with X coating on there, and that's kind of what you get. So that's kind of the standard that we base all of that off of. So I guess if you want to look at it like that, the 50s ones are slightly overwound, and the 60s are slightly underwound, and the 70s are garbage.
Duly noted.
Yeah. But yeah, I tend to gravitate toward 50s style stuff. So I go.
There's a
I go a little bit
specific
hotter.
there's a specific Strat I'm thinking of where it was the bridge or the neck was hotter than the middle, was hotter than the bridge. And that one sounded really good. I don't think it was intentional. I think it's just like fill up the bobbin and put it in the guitar and send it out the door. But yeah, that guitar sounded. It was a 57 Strat, I think, maybe 58.
I was out of the shop the day that came through. So
Oh no, dude.
I was really bummed. But that's when you get it in. You're like, it was just a setup, no restoration work or anything like that. So you get it in and you get it out that day.
Yeah.
And I was gone that day. So
bummer, dude.
I didn't get to see that one.
What about Telly pickups? So like, here's the thing, and I know I texted you guys about prices and stuff because like I think if I was gonna get something from you guys, it probably would be a Telly. You guys build amazing looking Tellys or T style. Let's say T style instrument.
Yeah.
And so like, what's the magic? Because there's something about like a Telly neck pickup that really has that throaty thing that I like.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like strattier than a Strat at times.
Sure.
Yeah, so, yeah, it can be.
What's the deal with those? Like, what do you guys like about T-style pickups?
What isn't there? What
I know,
isn't
right?
To like about them? Yeah, everything you said, that they are, in my opinion, the like T-style guitars are the most versatile of pretty much any guitar. I mean, granted, there's somebody will have something to say about it, but like for old timey rock and roll machines, the Telly is, in my opinion, the gold standard. You can pretty much do everything with them. And so traditionally the neck pickup is wound with a different wire, a thinner wire than the bridge. So like if you were looking at DC resistance, it would be pretty much matched or slightly over what the bridge pickup is, but it lets fewer high frequencies through because the wire is thinner. If you think about it like plumbing, it takes a lot more effort to get your water is your highs basically, and your
this is helpful, Mark, because
the wire is the pipe.
Okay.
It takes a lot more effort to get the water through the pipe when the wire is thinner. where the pipe is thinner.
Mhm.
So that cuts back on that. That's where you get that kind of throaty sound. And then having a metal cover on there changes the frequency of the pickup as well. So that's
Mm.
kind of why you get that sound.
Okay, that makes sense. So I can tell that you like those instruments. Like, so like the Fender style instruments are the ones that you gravitate towards the most, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Has there ever been any thought of like doing like a single cut style guitar, like at all?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
gotta take the time and like get a good design going, which that's why we haven't, is that we're so busy
Right.
building what we build. Um, so yeah, it's all about having extra time,
Okay. And then
Mhm.
you know what's funny is
but we
like
think about it
I'm
for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
sure.
we talk about it all the time. Talk about it all the time. Just got to
Like,
be about it. But and I really I don't want to have to work all day and all night right now because I'm a little bit burnt out. There will be a time in the future where I will, and that's when a lot of that stuff will get done. But right now, I'm very very tired. So
yeah, I bet, dude. I bet. That's
yeah,
why I appreciate you guys doing this too, to talk to me.
No problem.
Um,
Yeah, no problem, man.
so you know what's interesting too? So when I saw Ryan's video with his offset instrument and how he was talking about how he never, this resonated with me hard, how he's never resonated or like connected with like a jazz master, for instance. And I want to love those instruments because they look badass. Like they really are
Right.
one of the coolest looking instruments. And every time I pick one up, it just does not feel good in my hands. And like hearing him say that you guys were like, well, you haven't played ours, you know, you should try this, and how much he fell in love with it. Like, what do you think sets it apart, and why do you think that happened for him?
We kind of make them bad setup proof. Uh, so we make sure that the neck angle is correct, for example. So like, or that it has some sort of a neck angle so that, you know, you don't need to fuss with putting shims in there or anything. And then, you know, from there is really good fretwork and a straight neck and good pickups. That's pretty
yeah,
much, that's
they
all we're
set
doing
themselves
different.
up after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we changed some electronic components around. It's very much like I've gone through several iterations of that as well, and landed on something that I think is really really special for our particular instruments. Like I said, it sound wise, it might not work for everybody. Some people, you know, like them brighter and ice pickier. Some people don't. I like
Mm-hmm.
mellow and throaty usually. So that's kind of what I've designed. But
Okay.
not that you can't pull out a lot of other stuff. And then yeah, playability wise, it's all in how we designed the angles and stuff like that.
Okay. I always
Yeah.
thought about, I have an old like a 99 Strat Shoreline Gold. That was like my
Nice.
first guitar that I bought that I loved. And I now have it in open C tuning. So
Cool.
it's got
Sick.
16. Yeah, it's got 16 now to, is it 60? 16 to 60 gauge strings on it. But
Bitchin'.
yeah, it's badass, dude. But I've often thought about getting like a Jazz Master and putting that in open C tuning to get that pickup sound. Because I
Yeah.
like the Strat sound, but there's something different to be playing slide guitar in that tuning with humbuckers or P90s sounding
Yeah.
pickups. You know, there's something about, I'm finding that P90s are really that happy medium in a way. But I'm finding that I really am gravitating towards P90s because the RevStar is my first instrument that I ever had P90s. I've never owned an instrument besides that one.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it
cool.
worked for Iomi.
Yeah, right.
In my opinion, like the P90 is maybe the most perfect guitar pickup in existence ever of all time. So
Yeah, yeah. Are you guys like when you build these instruments? Have you ever, like, for instance, I would love to have an instrument with a kill switch in it to play slide, like have a kill switch
Oh
to
yeah,
make some weird sounds. Have you guys experimented with doing anything like that with any
on the
instruments?
repair side.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we put kill switches in for people all the time.
Did you put a kill switch in Joseph's offset?
I did. Yeah, actually, I did do
Yeah.
it on a build one time.
Okay.
And yeah,
We'll do it here and there.
Is
Yeah.
that hard with like any grounding issues? Is that like super difficult to get those things to stay so they're not finicky and they're reliable?
They're always a little bit finicky. It just depends on how much popping you can deal with when you press on it. I mean, we use the best quality kill switches we can find, and yeah, it's fun. It's fun, but I don't have any issues wiring them up usually.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that would be super fun to use those with slide guitar. There's so many things I can think to
absolutely.
mess with to make some cool sounds. Like, why not? So let's kind of like round out before we get to my lightning round get down, which
Yeah.
is just a quick 10 question thing for you guys. It's just going to be silly and fun.
Cool.
But for finishing the guitars, Sean, so when we're painting, so like I know you guys do a bunch of really cool colors and a bunch of stuff where you can kind of do custom things. Like, what is the craziest? I know you said you like doing the sparkle stuff, but like, what is the craziest request that you've had? And like, were you at first like, but then you did it and it was like beautiful?
Oh man, Mark probably remembers better than I do. Anything coming to mind?
Nothing's coming to mind that I can think of right now.
What have I done that I thought was super goofy and then turned out really cool?
Like what? Like, and you're talking about the sparkle stuff. Are you talking about like the metallic flake kind of vibe, or is it?
Yeah, big bass boat style sparkle stuff.
Okay.
I just did one that is surf burst, which is like silver flake, and then a yellow wash, and then a blue and green burst, which was pretty cool.
Whoa, dude.
That was wacky. It was cool.
I did graffiti yellow with Lake Placid blue competition stripes one time, and while I was imagining it, I was like, "This is gonna look fucking stupid," and then it was so cool when it was done.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I know there's got to be more, but
that's got to feel.
There was
good,
that
man.
time that we put a vial of somebody's hemoglobin in their guitar and finished over it. So he had like a route. He had a route in the back for a Sustainiac that he didn't want to put in the guitar. So we filled it with epoxy about halfway, put his vial of hemoglobin in there, and filled it up the rest of the way and painted that one black.
That was pretty wacky.
That's probably the wildest thing we've ever done. Does that count?
Yeah, of course. I thought you were messing with me at first. I was
no,
like,
no, that happened, man.
No.
That was weird. That was that was pretty odd.
Oh man. So are you kind of open to like experimenting with colors and doing whatever, or is it
as long as it's in my skill set?
Okay.
As long as it's in my skill set, I'm open to it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the best painter in the world. I'm not out there with a sponge putting patterns in stuff and making it look really cool like some people can do. Like a lot of auto body guys are like super good at stuff like that. Or like the painter for ESP, the American side of ESP, that guy's super good. There's a lot of just refinishers that are super good. Like I do like old school like nitro finishes mostly. So like,
yeah, we're not doing wolf murals, man.
Yeah, not doing any wolf murals. Nothing crazy like that. Did a paisley. That was
cool.
That was a big pain in the butt, but we got it done. So I'll probably discourage people from wanting to do paisley finishes with us again. But that's more of a time thing. So I just have to charge accordingly.
Right. Yeah. Because you're talking about layers and layers, right? Like how labor intensive is that?
Pretty labor intensive. I didn't realize how much sealer you have to put over those to where it won't poke through, and like that sealer is pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you gotta build it up and sand it back and make sure that you're not gonna have pieces of paper poking through your finish when it's all said and done. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot of sealing and sanding. That's a lot of extra work.
Yeah. It sounds like it. Cause like when people do like the finish over finish, like for instance, one time, dude, I saw this beautiful guitar. It was an exotic guitar.
Okay, yeah,
And it was burgundy mist over top of Olympic white, I think.
cool.
And so like where they relicked it, where it was, on your kind of like your forearm relic, the like white was coming through, but like tastefully. It wasn't like,
Yeah,
crazy heavy relic, but like that's the one time I saw that color, burgundy mist, and I was like, oh man, that is a gorgeous color.
yeah. So to do that, you gotta put like a full Olympic white finish on. Like you gotta take it almost to the end, and then you have to be super thin with your burgundy mist so that you can wear through it, and then not buff it out in a way that's gonna like burn through and look stupid in other spots. Like if you want it to look tasteful,
Right.
yeah, you got it's like doing 1.5 full finishes, and yeah, that's pretty tricky. Like I I wasn't very good at it for a long time, and I still don't like to do it. But yeah, it's that doing stuff like that and making it actually look good. That's a real talent.
Well, let me show you, since you're a fan of the sparkle. Like this is a guitar. Let me see real quick if I can get this. Share my screen. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, let me full screen.
So this is
Cool.
this is this guy Chuck Garvey, who's been like one of my guitar heroes forever, and he has this pink sparkle Strat that he's had since the 90s.
Yeah.
I think he got it when they got their Sony deal back in the 90s. I think that was like his money that he took, that he got this custom shop. He says it's a dog to play. It's not the greatest instrument to play, but that finish, he calls it the Barbie Strat.
Uh-huh.
That is so friggin' cool. Like there's something about it to like, especially in the 90s, to walk out on stage like, with that instrument, where people weren't like, cool with dudes playing pink guitars, which is so dumb. But
Yeah.
that sparkle, is that kind of like what you're talking about? That's the kind of style you like, with that flake and
Yeah, yeah.
everything
I'm
in
trying
there?
I'm trying to find a different picture of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind I like.
Yeah. It's so
That's
cool,
cool.
man. Yeah. But I thought about like, can you do that with any color? Like, can you anything that you want? Like any color that you can imagine?
Kind of, yeah. You're you're a little bit limited by what like flake colors you can get, but they make an awful lot of them. And if you can't find the color you want, sometimes you can go in with clear coat with a little bit of dye to kind of mimic that.
But do some colors kind of do a better job with the flake than others? Like it's more pronounced. Like if you like are looking at it from, from here to the stage kind of thing, you can see it a little bit better in the light.
Yeah, flake size. If you use a really big one, then it reflects a lot better from further away.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Sweet. So, I mean, that it sounds like you guys put a lot of love into these instruments, man. And,
We try,
everything
man.
everything that I can see. And BV, thanks for moderating the chat. Let's pop some of the stuff up here so everybody can see what's going on.
Thanks, BB.
But everybody go check these guys out. I mean, there's just, a level of craftsmanship when you see people that are doing things that you can tell they care. And I can tell, I mean, I've only talked to you guys now for 53 minutes, but like I
Yeah,
can tell you guys give a damn about what you're going to be sending to your clients. And
Yeah,
that
very
absolutely,
passionate
man.
about it. Yeah.
that's huge. Here's the Instagram as well. Check that out. Great pictures of all the instruments too up on there. Oh, you guys got a Facebook page. Look at you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we've had that for a long time. Not typically the one that we use anymore. So we'll try to like, anytime we post, we'll make
Yeah,
sure
it's
we
ju- it's just
get it over to her.
Yeah.
Get
It's
over to
just
the
cross
Facebook.
posts from Instagram mostly.
Yeah, I hear you. So we got some people saying hello to you guys. So just wanted to pop this in here and let everybody say hello. We got a lot of people in here. So this is great. But everybody, if you are interested in finding out more about what these guys are doing, definitely go to the websites that just popped up there. If you're listening on Apple Podcast, Spotify, basically you just want to go to seufguitars.com, and that's SEUF, seufguitars.com. And that's basically where you guys do orders too, right? Where people can put in requests for to talk to you guys about what they want to build.
Just have people email us and we go from there.
Sweet. Yep. That's awesome. I saw when I was on the site today, as I was just looking around, there was one telly. Was it the Lake Placid Blue telly? Possibly with some like beautiful checking. Do you guys do all that stuff too? Like heavier to lighter relicing stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Has anybody wanted you to drag it behind a car that bad? Like wreck it? Wreck the body?
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't do I mean, we don't go too terrible crazy with that stuff. It's less convincing, and from a vintage restoration standpoint, which is where both of us got our start, you don't see that very often.
Right.
So I don't like to do the whole hyper reality relic guitar thing. Like it just doesn't look right. If you're gonna beat it up on your own accord.
Yeah, totally.
Play authentic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Like when I saw Mike McCready's Strat when that came out, I was like, that is 100% what he has done to that instrument. So it's like, anybody that's like looking at that and be like, why would you want that guitar beat up? I'm like, that's like history. That's like 30 years of history of that dude playing that instrument is what you're looking at. It's a recreation of history. So that I'm very cool with. All right, fellas, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop on a metronome at about 112 BPM cruising altitude for some suspense. This is the lightning round get down. I'm going to ask you guys 10 quick questions. And what we can do is like, Sean, you can answer, then Mark answer, and then we'll go into the next one.
Okay.
And then we'll get through those, and that'll be it. And then we'll be done. So
cool.
All right. The first question is always the same. Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney. Do I have to say why?
You don't have to. No, you can.
Just just because of Wings. I'm not like a super.
I love Wings too.
Yeah, I'm a Wings guy, not a Beatles guy.
That's funny. I love Wings. All right, Mark. Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
Okay, cool. Phaser or flanger?
Oh, that's tough. That's a lot harder for me than Lennon or McCartney. Phaser. I think Phaser. Yeah, that's tough.
All right, Captain Kirk or Captain Han Solo?
Kirk.
Okay. Semi-hollow or fully hollow?
Fully.
Semi.
Okay. Jenga or Scrabble?
Jenga.
All righty. P or J bass?
J.
P.
Look at this split. I love it.
Yeah.
Soundgarden or Alice in Chains?
Oh man, that's Soundgarden.
Okay. Donuts or muffins?
Your day is nothing without a muffin.
You can't say any better than that.
High fives or handshakes?
High fives.
High fives.
All right. And here's the last one. And this will be like for both of you, and you can answer separately. But if you could take one album, and it doesn't have to be your favorite album of all time, but if you could take one album and erase it from your memory, just so you could go back and experience it for the first time again, what album would that be?
Before the Don Heals Us M83.
Okay.
That's M83 is before the Don Heals Us. I think that's it.
The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars.
Oh, okay. All right. I love this. I wasn't expecting there to be this much split between the two of you. So tell me a little bit more about both those records and why you love them, and then we'll cut out of here.
I think that M83 record, that was my first time ever hearing M83, and that's kind of what got me into liking some more synth driven and ambient music.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like it's heavy. It's like heavy without being like distorted guitars or anything. It's really cool.
So like the weight of the music.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. All right, Mark.
Yeah, that record rocks. So that was the everybody grows up listening to Bowie and stuff like that, but like as far as like album experiences go, that was the first one that I ever put on and like sat down and actually listened to, and there wasn't a dull moment in the entire record. And it just kind of like shaped the album experience for me. Up to that point in my life, like I was everybody. It was the '90s. We all had Kid A, which you don't think an album experience can top that, but for me, Ziggy Stardust did, and yeah, so that was it was real transformative for me.
Are there any like modern records that you guys have experienced that feeling with, in terms of like sit down and listen to the whole thing and experience it? Because not a lot of people do that these days, but I try to as much as I can.
I haven't done that in a long time. Yeah, everything's just so fast and available now. Like I don't feel like I'm making as much time to just like sit down and listen to something.
Okay.
And just experience it. Unfortunately, because I used to do that a lot when I was younger.
What's on in the shop when you guys are working? Do you listen to music, or can you not because you got to like pay attention to what's going on?
All over the map, man. A lot of times it's like 90s soft rock.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Like lots of Michael Bolton. Honestly, if it feels like a dentist office in there, like that's kind of the vibe I want to curate a lot more often than not, because it's mindless and they're bangers and you don't have to pay attention to it. It's good working music.
And those soft rock songs always have like the so low in the mix, like the heaviest distortion on the guitars, just like chugging away in the background. It's so cool.
And it's so weird too that probably a lot of that stuff is like probably Mike Landau or like some killing player. You know what I mean? Like just
somebody trying to be Lukather, but like
dude. I'll leave you with this story. This is so funny. So I play piano too, and and I every now and again I'll like put something on Instagram of me playing piano. And my dad passed away a year ago this Saturday, and I remember this is like probably the spring before he passed away in like September. And I remember I was just goofing off playing Richard Marx, Wherever You Go, like in like the family room. And I'll play that a lot, and I'll play like Bryan Adams, Everything I Do It For You. I forgot that song.
They're the same song.
Good.
Yeah, right.
More or less.
I was sitting down playing, and I posted something, and my dad was like, "Mark, that's the one. I think you wrote the hit. I think that this is it." And I was like, "Dad, where you were in the car when we were listening to B104, like driving to the mall, and this song was on all the time. How did you not remember?" He's like, "Oh my God, I know what you're talking about now." He's like, "Well, that was a hit, so I must have my thumbprint on something." On something. And I was like, "All right, I'll give that to you, Dad." Oh man. But all right, Sean, Mark, dude, you guys, thank you so much for spending some time with me. It's such a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem, Mark.
Get to talk to you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Great. And again, everybody, head on over to this website if you would like some information about some amazing guitars that you can have custom built by these two wonderful gentlemen and crew. So everyone, take care of yourself, take care of each other. We will see you next time. Peace.